The battles between the Grand Duchy of Lithuania and the Teutonic Order that took place in the 13th to 15th centuries are one of the most important events in the history of Lithuania. These bloody clashes not only shaped the state's borders and future, but also hardened the Lithuanian nation, developed its courage, unity, and determination to defend its freedom. The beginning of the bloody battles dates back to the beginning of the 13th century, when the Teutonic Order, based in Prussia, began raiding Lithuanian lands. They sought to expand their possessions and baptize pagans. The Crusaders constantly attacked Lithuanian principles, looted and burned villages, and killed people. At the beginning of March 1362, the great master Windrich von Knepoda mobilized huge Crusader forces not only from Prussia, but also from Germany, England, and Italy. From Karalotsios, they all came to Ragania, which is now located in Kaliningrad, not far from Nemunas River. Supplies were replenished there, and after receiving a favorable westerly wind, they reached Kaunas in 3 days by sailing upstream on the Nemunas River. In 1362, at the end of March, the Crusader ships reach island at the confluence of the Nemunas and Neris rivers. They built bridges across the narrow channel of the river and used them to transport the brought military ammunition which they built. These were battering rams, catapults, siege towers. After they left part of the soldiers to guard the ships, before starting the attack, the Crusaders decided to cut off the castle from the east so that the defenders of the Kaunas castle would not receive reinforcements. Crusaders, having dug a long ditch, built a spiked fence and left a guard. The soldiers were ordered to secure a safe rear. The castle was surrounded from all sides and an attack was launched, during which almost all the defenders of the Kaunas castle were killed. Later, after they destroyed the castle, the Crusaders retreated to Panamuni and occupied another Lithuanian castle. In April, Master Windrich, who destroyed the castle of Kaunas and Pistv, surrounded the castle of Veluona. On the 4th day, the castle was burned. The Teutonic Order began to strengthen its position at the confluence of the Nemunas and Neris rivers. They sought to fully establish themselves in this strategically important region and built wooden castles. At that time, the only Lithuanian fortress stood in the vicinity of Kaunas, the wooden Eigulė castle, which controlled shipping on Nereme River. However, April 30th, 1382, the Crusaders attacked the castle, which was defended by over 120 soldiers. For 2 days, the Crusaders continuously attacked, but they could not destroy the walls. In the early morning, the enemies managed to approach and set fire to the wooden walls of the castle. The defenders were determined to break through or die honorably. Opening the burning gates, they attacked the enemy and were killed in an unequal fight. A straight road to Trakai was opened for the Crusaders. The struggle for the Crusader order was made easier by the fact that in 1382, Lithuania was shaken by an internal conflict over power. At the beginning of 1384, Vytautas gave Žemaitija lands to the Crusaders for their support in the fight against Jogaila. In June of the same year, in a very short time, just a few months, somewhere in this place, there were 2 islands at the confluence of the Nemunas and Neris rivers, and one of them stood the mighty brick castle of the order, Marienwerder. The bricks required for its construction were brought from Prussia. It is believed that these islands have now merged with the shore. The establishments of a strong brick castle next to the Kaunas castle, which was destroyed 22 years ago, was a great achievement for the Crusaders. They finally controlled the main waterways deep into Lithuania. To mark this event, the entire leadership of the order gathered in the newly built castle, including Vytautas. Marienwerder immediately became a base for Crusaders' attacks on Lithuania. According to written sources, the walls of the castle were impressive, even about 17 meters high and about 3 meters thick, who could accommodate a crew of about 400 men. There was also an inner port for ships. Vytautas became more and more dangerous for Jogaila, and he decided to invite his cousin back to Lithuania. Vytautas left the order in 1384 on July 9th. While retreating, he burned down several Crusader castles and took many prisoners. After these events, Vytautas and Jogaila again started fighting the German order with joint forces, and their main task was to destroy the Marienwerder castle, which posed a great danger to them. At first, Vytautas planned to capture the castle by deception, but he was not successful. On the morning of the 10th of July, the soldiers of the castle crew noticed that on the other side of the Nemunas River, neither animals or people could be seen grazing there. This raised suspicion. Soon, they saw two men going down the Nemunas in a small boat. These were Vytautas' people. They did not obey the call to come to shore. So they sent some people to chase them. Unfortunately, the Crusaders managed to capture one man. Under torture, he betrayed Vytautas' plan, and the castle had time to prepare for defense. The Lithuanians mobilized large forces to attack the castle. Jogaila, Skirgaila, and Vytautas arrived at the castle with all their strength on September 21st, 1384. Not only Lithuanian, but also Ruthenian regiments from the eastern lands of the LDK participated in the operation. The Lithuanian army had modern military equipment: 2 lever-armed stone slingers, 1 particularly large stone slinger, and several wall breakers. The Lithuanians besieged the fortress and started shelling it with stone throwers, and started building a bridge over the Nemunas. For about 4 weeks, the fighting took place alternately. The Crusaders would not have lasted long because the Lithuanians intensified their attack. However, with the Lithuanians constantly shelling the castle, several Crusader ships arrived in the inner harbor of Marienwerder. The ships brought food, other supplies, took the wounded, and replenished the crew with new forces. Then the ships left. Seeing the hopelessness of the situation, the crew decided to leave the soldiers to God's grace. After more than 6 weeks of siege, the 6th of November, the crew of the Marienwerder surrendered. About 150 noble knights of the order and over 250 other soldiers were killed and captured. After the battle, the enemy's castle was finished being demolished. The successful military operation in Kaunas made it possible to stop the dangerous expansion of the Teutonic Order.